The Allied military enterprise at Gallipoli failed, but the work of the Zion Mule Corps was appreciated by the British commanders and established the prospect of Jewish military participation in the conquest of Palestine. Of the 650 Jewish exiles from Palestine who enlisted in the Zion Mule Corps, 562 served on the Gallipoli Peninsula. Trumpeldor took part in the V Beach landing at the very outset of the campaign. When in November the evacuation of the peninsula began, the Allies failed utterly in reaching their objectives. The Allied commanders-in-chief wrote to Jabotinsky, "The men have done extremely well, working their mules calmly under heavy shell and rifle fire, and thus showing a more difficult type of bravery than the men in the front line, who had the excitement of combat to keep them going." In Palestine itself, the hardships of country and war intensified, as Turkish troops struggled successfully to keep the British out of Palestine, but were being driven back into Mesopotamia, almost to Baghdad. But were being driven back in Mesopotamia, almost to Baghdad. For the Jews, amid all difficulties of war, life went on. On May 4th, 1915, a child was born in the kibbutz Diganania. His name was Moshe Dayan. He was named after 19-year-old Moshe Barsky, a member of the Digania, killed before the war by 6 Arabs who were trying to steal his mule. The young Dayan was the first child to be born in the kibbutz. In years to come, he was to be among the State of Israel's foremost soldiers and statesmen. Dayan's birth coincided with a plague of locusts. They arrived in great swarm from across Jordan. The members tried everything possible to destroy them or to protect the trees and crops, Dayan later wrote. A sticky paste was smeared on the tree trunks, and the branches were wrapped in white sacking. Ditches were dug among the threshing floor and filled with water, but nothing helped. When the locusts moved on, their eggs hatched, and there were caterpillars everywhere. Little was salvaged. Later in the war, German Air Force pilots, who had been seconded to the Turkish army, found the homes at Degania, the perfect barracks in which to live, and took them over. The members of the kibbutz had to move into the cowshed and storehouse for the rest of the war. During a cold and rainy winter, all the children were ill. The young Dayan caught pneumonia. Throughout the First World War, the defense of the outlying settlements in the north continued to be vigilantly maintained. In 1916, Kibbutz Kfar Galadi was founded by the members of Hashomer on the northwest rim of the Hula Swamp. Its aim was both to guard the northern settlements against sporadic attacks by groups of neighboring Arab villagers, a disturbing feature of the previous decade, and to increase the food supply available to the starving Jewish population throughout the country.